see if I can get this to not be so shaky. I probably can't. Um, Hello, YouTube. I have decided that I needed to take advantage of what has just happened. And what has just happened is I literally have never experienced Jackson throw a temper tantrum the way that he just did. Now, I'm not talking like, he hit me or something like that. That's nothing new. Toddlers, well, they act like angry alligators when they don't want to take a nap sometimes. He didn't used to be like this. Um, but he has been refusing to want to lay down until 3 o'clock. Almost every day. And I don't. See, my problem with him starting to take a nap at 3 o'clock is that he won't wake up till like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and his bedtime is like at 7:30. So he'll still sleep all night, but if he goes to bed until like if he's not going to bed until 9 o'clock, that throws off my schedule, and it makes him super unbearable. Him waking up between 4:30 and 5, I'm in the process of cooking dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need him already awake, not crabby waking up, because my son does not wake up gracefully at all. Does not wake up gracefully at all. And I am challenging him to where I'm forcing him to answer me. Like, his way of communicating has always been just to yell at me, and I'm forcing him to use words. Well, since he has learned the word no, he understands what he wants and doesn't want. And he can say no, but instead of saying yes, he'll just say okay, 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 I want that. Um, I'm trying to get him to say the word yes. Now, he doesn't have any like learning disabilities or any speech problem. He literally is just being stubborn. Because when he wants something, he either takes me by the hand and takes me to it, or he brings it to me. He does some kind of like physical communication, right? And he was throwing a fit. Now, this started at 2 o'clock. I have been trying to lay him down since 1 o'clock. And so 2 o'clock rolls around, and I decide to let him out of his room to try and get him to calm down. Now, I'm not saying I left him in there for an hour crying or nothing, but he would get quiet, and then he would bang on the door, and he would get quiet. So I thought he was like going to sleep. Well, he got really, really worked up. So he comes out, he's got his blanket in one arm, and he wants me to hold him and all this kind of jazz. That's fine. Well, then he starts pointing at the closet, the pantry, and he wants food in there. I'm like, okay, what do you want? It's after 2. It could count as an afternoon snack. That's okay. Just tell me what you want. Well, I start giving him suggestions, and he's telling me no. So I said, all right, tell me what you want. And he points at it, and it's crackers. So I said, do you want crackers? And he starts crying. Starts throwing his head back, and he's all, kind of thing, right? I said, Jackson, do you want crackers? And he would just look at me like, I'm not going to tell you yes kind of look at you, you know? So I was like, do you need to go lay down? No. Do you want something else? No. Do you want crackers? And like that's what I was going through. And I was like, you have to tell me yes. You say yes. And he was getting upset because I was gonna make him say yes. And I have not given him the crackers. It hasn't happened because he has not told me yes. And that was really hard. That was really hard because I knew that he wanted them, because then he started saying, okay, okay. Um, but I decided to push the buttons because that's not yes. That was his way of saying, I want that. I'm not going to do it, you tell me. And I don't want things to be a power struggle, but I feel like this is something I should really stand my ground on because, yes, it's crackers. Um, yes, he's tired. You know, kids are more ornery when they're tired, but he's not using the word yes ever. Ever. And when he wants something, he just starts crying about it. So he has been kind of conditioned that when he wants something, he just has to be vocal about it, and that's not okay anymore. He has to talk to me. He has to use real words. So, um, and it has to be something I say to do. It can't be like I say yes and he goes okay, and then I give in. You know, like if I say I want a high five, and then you can have crackers. If he gives me the high five, that's him doing what I ask. If I say I want you to say yes, and he says no, or he says something, you know what I'm saying? So I really, really had to stand my ground here. His temper tantrums were crazy, so I ended up walking away from the pantry. We sat on the couch, we snuggled up, and he's so upset. He picks up my phone and goes, Mama, Mama, and he wants to talk to people. Because when he wants something, he says the word Mama. He doesn't actually tell me what he wants. So that's the next thing I work on, but I think yes is the first one I start with. And so we're calling people because I think he wants to complain about how aggravated he is. And we're talking to my grandmother, who's his great grandma, and he's kind of talking to her. He's just being frustrated and ornery, and then, sorry, YouTube kind of ended for a second. Finds a bowl of these chips that were on the counter. I had already been in the living room, so he walks his little toddler 2-year old butt to the kitchen, gets them off the counter, and brings me the bowl and goes, Mama, Mama. Um, so I gave him a chip, and he ate it. He was fine, and then he wanted another one. Okay, well I gave him another one, and then he wanted another. I'm like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this because you still need to go to lay down to bed because now it's 2:15. I've been 15 minutes into working through him and his issues, and I'm like, no, this isn't gonna work. So he throws himself on the floor again. And he just curls up, rolls like you look like, like you hurt him or something. Like he's just reacting like that. It's a full on temper tantrum. And I'm so over it. I'm done with that. I get that people say terrible twos, are bad, or the threes are worse. And you know what? I disagree because he's been doing this for months. And until we as parents teach our children this is not how you communicate, this is not acceptable, and we do things like this moment, they want to throw that fit, you go throw that fit in your own room, in your own space, because you're not going to make me suffer from your fit. No. So I was like, he understands what timeout means, and he knows what do you need to go to your room means. So do you need a timeout? No. Do you need to go to your room? No. I said, well, then you need to stop and collect yourself. So he'll sit there and he'll go, and he'll be quiet. Once I ignored him and went back to the phone, he would get upset that he wasn't getting the attention. I ended up having to end my conversation, and as a grandma, she so understands. And I had said, Jackson, this is not okay. You need to stop, or you're going to your room. Well, that lasted for a whole 60 seconds. Because afterwards, he started just getting upset about everything, that he couldn't have chips anymore, that he couldn't be on the phone anymore, he couldn't just do whatever you wanted. I said, son, you need to take a rest. let's go lay down. You need to rest. Um, because if I say the word nap time or bedtime, it's like I'm asking for it. So I tell him, I was like, why don't you go take a recharge? Why don't you go nap? Um, this is what it is. Let's go rest. Well, that was like picking up an angry alligator because he's all flailing and his head's everywhere, and I'm carrying him like he's a you know a present under my arm or something. So I put him in his room, take off all these extra stuffies on his bed. He's got one blanket, keeping it simple, and I tried getting him to lay still. He won't do it. And then I realized I'm getting so frustrated that my frustration is not going to help him calm down. And then I need to walk out my space. I need to just let him throw this fit for whoever he thinks he needs to throw it for, because I'm not going to be a part of it. Nope. So I walked out of that room, and as soon as I got to the door, he sat up and just was like real still, just looking at me. Like, 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 are you really leaving? Kind of look. And I had shut the door right behind me, walked away, and I went and got myself a bottle of water. I picked up my journal, which is what the cover page is of this live post. It's my soaping journal. Sorry, it stopped again. Prayer and soaping journal, because I have been neglecting my studies. I have been neglecting my hobbies. I've just put everything on hold, and since starting this new schedule, like really implementing it, I have found I have time. I'm not spending the whole day cleaning. It's wonderful. So I'm taking advantage of my time now from 12 to 3. That's my time. But since he has invaded that block, I get a little bit extra. I'm probably going to do some extra tonight too. But he has been some extra. Now I closed that door, I walked away, and about 5 minutes later, he was done screaming. Because this boy gets so mad, he thinks that if he hurts himself, like runs into the wall, or he hits his head on his table, or he'll slam his feet against the back wall of his bed rail, that it's going to be enough for me to turn around and hold him, and that everything's going to be okay. So that has to stop. He will flat out hurt himself to get his way. That's not cool. So 5 minutes later, it gets quiet. He's not running into the door, because he did that like once. Oh, I shouldn't laugh, but he does. And he's not throwing himself on the floor anymore. He's not hitting his bed. Like he's chilling out. And here's the sad truth. I can't go in and check on him just because it got quiet. I have to let that quiet stay quiet. I avoid that whole side of my house for at least 30 minutes of solid silence. Afterwards, I can then walk over there. I can talk freely without him freaking out. Like this whole, I'm gonna say at least 11 minutes of this, I've not heard him. So that's nice. He is a trip, but I do think this is Mom 1, Jackson 0, because I cannot be a prisoner to my 2-year-old. I cannot let him run my life, and I cannot let him think that if he hurts himself, he gets attention. I cannot let him think that he can just walk all over me and just say, okay, because he feels like he's only going to do what he wants to do. I can't let that happen. So this is a battle I have chosen, and I'm going to win it. I am so gonna win this. because my son has to say yes. He has to learn how to say that. Like, I've never heard him say that word before. And he only started saying yes, saying no for like the last 2 weeks. Now, again, nobody freak out. He does talk. He just talks in his own way. He does so much baby gibberish. It was crazy, but they're starting to sound like real words. Like for a while, he would say, "I go," when we're wanting to go to another room. It sounded like aga. It has now translated into I go. He can say I go. So he has been trying to speak for a long time, but his vocabulary is not super wide. He's just a stubborn kid. He's passed all his hearing tests. He is his doctor is very happy with his progress, with like his speech and his chatter. He just does it on his own. So, anyways, I had to jump on here. Not that I was hoping he was throwing a fit anymore, but I was thinking that as a mom, one of the things I always could never find was a mom talking about her struggles with younger children. And I don't mean like the parents who film their kids throwing a fit. I did that a couple of times just so that my husband could see what I was going through during the day, and because it was Jackson's first really real fit, and I kind of wanted to film it. So I'm a little guilty of that. But I haven't done that in like months because it happened once and I was over it. And I don't think I would ever directly film him throwing a fit anymore unless I needed like his doctor to see what he's doing. Because I am human. I am so new. Sorry, it cut off again. I am new to this, and that if I needed somebody to see what I was talking about, that's when it's appropriate to film it. But I think as a mom, it would have been so nice to see other moms being like, yep, this is their fit, this is how I deal with it, and it's okay. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to be like, I want to go hide in the closet and never come out. It's okay. Um, Now, that's not great that the first thing I want to do is eat some Twizzlers. Oh, man, did I want some Twizzlers. I'm like, you're driving me crazy to the point of insanity. Where's my candy? So, um, but if you are that mom and that's the point you're at, that's okay. Um, but I hope this is like some kind of encouragement for new moms or even young moms with young children, because while there are thousands of books on parenting, there's only so many hours in the day to where you can read. And until you experience these things, there really is no way to prepare for them. I, man, man, I survived my 2 year old's worst temper tantrum to date. And I had to tell you about it. So, thank you for taking this 20 minutes and counting out of your life. Well, that's 19 minutes, but you get my point. To let me talk and all these YouTube interruptions. Maybe they'll get their stuff together one day. But I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of the peace and quiet. And I've got reading to do, I've got writing to do, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Love you and blessed be.